And we're live. Welcome back, everybody. Another Tuesday night. Look at us. Did you lay yours out first?
Well, mine's dirty.
Yeah, you hold it down a little bit. You don't see the dirty.
Yeah, stains on
it. Hey, guys. Welcome back. Another Tuesday night chat with the Muskrat and Bobcat. We've got Brad on his way in. So Brad's in a different time zone, right? He's down south. So
he's on Bama time.
He's on Bama time, so he'll be here in just a couple minutes. So we'll go ahead and get things started and kicked off anyways, and then we'll welcome Brad in when he gets here. But been a crazy week for me. Been busy as can be. My daughter, I can't believe it. Many prayers were answered to get us here, but she is 37 weeks now, full term, and they are inducing her tomorrow and saying we're going to get that baby out.
Praise God. That's awesome, man.
Absolutely, man. So
that's awesome.
Thanks everybody who said some prayers, and if you got one more left, I just pray that the baby's healthy. That's all. That's all a dad can ask for. Is just
that's all that matters. That's right.
That baby be healthy. So she goes in tomorrow morning to be induced her labor tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So might be a new papaw tomorrow sometime.
There you go, peepaw.
Peepaw.
People.
Well, before we get things kicked off and rolling, we say hello to some folks that have taken the time to tune in with us. Most of these folks are here every Tuesday night, and we thank them, we love them, we appreciate them.
Yeah. We got fishing with Jeff Bill in here first. Then we got Miss Burrito catfishing lady Lisa in there aggravating the snot out of us. Then Bobcat outdoors. What's he doing in there?
Multitasking.
Yeah, we got 922 crappie barbecue in the house. Bobby in there. Then them Benoit girls are in there. She said she's second is the bestest.
Man, do you see the video they put out? A big old flathead.
I have not watched that one yet. I'm looking forward to seeing a big flathead though. We got Mr. Dale Evans in, Stonefly 71 in the house. Catch fish with us, I already said.
There's catch fish with us.
I'm
wearing my new hat from Miss V made me.
Nice. That's sharp.
That's sharp, ain't it?
I like that.
I don't know what makes you think I want orange, but
it's the right color too, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. There's Miss Verlena. Speaking of.
There you go. Thank you guys for the hat. Appreciate it. The only problem is I don't want to wear it. I don't want to get it dirty.
Yeah, you don't want to get slime on it or blood.
That's a sweatband across the front. That's what gets me every time.
Anything you take fishing, you're going to get it dirty. We got Mr. H. Lee Osborne in the house. Fishing the Mid-South. Does anybody know if the power has been restored at the gathering campsite? I do believe so. I'm not certain of that.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. We'll talk a little bit about the gathering here in just a few.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Benoit Outdoors says sending prayers and love.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate
it. Randy is Papa Dragon. We have a new grandbaby too.
Papa Dragon.
Yeah, I like that. Papa Dragon.
Well, my nickname on her over there, her house is Pepper. Because they asked one of the little girls if they wanted to call me Roger or Papaw, and she put Roger and Papaw together and came up with Pepper.
Hey, there you go. It worked.
So they're calling me Papaw Pepper. I'm not sure.
Papaw Pepper.
Papaw Pepper. So I don't know if that's going to stick. I like Papaw.
Hey.
Speaking of Papaw, that's what all my kids call my dad is Papaw and Mamaw. I'm sure Mamaw's right there.
And Mamaw Muskrat. There you go.
There you go. Paw.
I like it.
I like it. We ain't got nothing that can stick completely yet. So far, I'm leaning on Papaw.
Got Rowdy Royal in the house.
What's up, Rowdy?
Greg Burgess. Greg, he's in here every Tuesday night as well.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Yeah, we got a lot of familiar faces in the house tonight. Appreciate you guys.
That crazy Floridian's in here, small water chargers.
What's going on, buddy?
Talking about catching crappie. That's a crappie slayer right there.
Well, now I don't want to talk about our crappie we've been catching because that's He'll laugh at us.
He'll shame you, won't he? He'll crappie shame you. You don't need that.
We just ate crappie for dinner. We caught crappie this morning. Me and Jackie and Amelia went out for a few hours. Caught I don't know. I think we pulled 30 crappie. It wasn't. I'm pap to my grandsons. There you go. Hey, he's got a good looking sea arc there as a thumbnail. Looks just like the one Zachary won.
Looks like it is a good looking sea arc.
Like a pro cat.
Welcome in, Dave Evans. Appreciate you.
So real quick before Brad gets in here and we get going, we'll talk a little bit about the gathering real quick. Obviously, unfortunately, we won't make it. We are going to do the Bink and Janet Fox Cancer Research Tournament this weekend. And it really works out in the best because with my daughter going in tomorrow to have the baby, I would have never left for the week now anyway. So it worked out really good all the way around. So we'll be,
that's for sure.
God willing, we'll be there this weekend with that tournament. So, But yeah,
I hope so.
What can you tell folks about the gathering that they may or may not know already?
I think it's kind of going on all week. There's already people here in from out of town. I know Chris and Telly, Hooks and Hammock, Matthew come in today. What's Matthew's channel?
Want to be outdoors?
He came in. Yeah, Want to be outdoors came in today. He actually come by the shop. Freddie was here. Then he ran back home. And he's coming back about 1 o'clock in the morning. So there's already a slew of people over there at the gathering in Hickson, Tennessee, at Chester Frost Park, hanging out, and they're fishing already. But only problem is, man, there's a lot of storms yesterday. The campground got hit, uprooted about 7 trees, tore some tents up. It's we're gonna have some nasty weather all week. It's gonna be kind of raining off and on, but people will find time to get out and fish and get bait and do all the stuff.
Well, welcome in,
Brad.
Brad.
Be a big time.
Hey guys, how y'all doing?
All tournament going on. Hey, Brad, how's it going?
All right, buddy. I finally got here. I didn't know the time zone was different.
Yeah.
Well, you got
a little bit of echo.
Yeah. Do I?
You got echo. You got something turned up.
He's got in stereo over there.
What about now?
Still.
A little bit.
Let me get my computer whiz over here.
There you go. Get some IT in on this.
Yeah. I'm computer dumb, man, when it comes to this.
It's all right, buddy. We've all been there. I'm still that way.
I still ain't got it down. I fake it till I make it. There you go. Dale Hayslips in the house saying, "There's the big fish slayer, Brad." Good evening, buddy.
That's right.
What's up? What's up? Is that better, y'all?
It's still got a little bit of echo. It's not terrible, but it's still got a little bit. There is an echo cancellation setting. If you go down to the bottom of your screen and hit settings and then go to audio, there's an echo cancellation that may help that. Got Brian B in the house. Bob and Doreen family fishing. Welcome in.
I'll get the fart sniffer. Boy, I hope you pee to bed, Brian.
He snuck in on you. But so yeah, I'm hoping everything goes well.
How about now? How about now?
Still the same.
Huh? We canceled out the echo.
Well, it's not bad. It's not like echoing like over you again. It's just like you're talking down a hallway. That's.
You don't have another device turned on with it broadcasting, do you, in the room?
You don't have YouTube on it nowhere else?
No. Let me try it without my mic and see if that helps. We got a mic on this camera.
Uncle Lou, what's going on?
Uncle Lou.
So yeah, hopefully they get everything squared away at the Chester Frost.
It sounds like a monster truck rally round.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are proud to bring you me with the following.
That's right.
Gentlemen, start your engines. Uncle Lou's reminding everybody to hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. We'd appreciate it.
Please.
Turn your mic off. See if they can hear you.
Hey, what about now, guys?
Perfect.
That's better. Yeah, much better.
Something wrong with this little mic. We got a lot of things going on here, but at least my wife knows how to fix it, 'cause I sure don't.
Yeah, that's much better.
How y'all been doing, guys?
We're doing
Doing
good.
good. How are you, buddy?
Good, man.
Good running into you at the se4 tournament. You guys did pretty good down there.
Yeah, we had an awesome week, man. Had a pretty good tournament. We lost some real big fish in the tournament, but I mean, when you have a week like we had before the tournament, just playing around fishing and everything, man, you can't complain. We just went at it to have fun. We didn't know if we would do any good or not, but luckily we did do pretty good. But we had an awesome week, man. I had a great time with my friend. It's his first time here, and that was my goal, was to make sure he had a good time and enjoyed himself, you know.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we actually ran into him in the entry line waiting to get in the parking lot. He was next to us, and we talked to him a little bit.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
I imagine he probably built that ceiling. You're kind of in the construction trades, aren't you, Brad?
Yeah, I do. I used to build houses, but I kind of downscaled and started doing smaller jobs, and now my jobs are getting smaller and smaller, so I can fish more. You know.
There you go, buddy. I heard that. Priorities. You gotta have priorities.
Yeah. Well, eventually you get too old to do construction work, you know, because I work by myself. Well, my wife helps me from time to time, but you know, that's rough work, you know, and I beat my body up over the years, and so I got to save some of this what's left to pick up them big catfish, you know.
That's right.
Hey, Mama, welcome in. Love you. It should be a great grandma here real soon.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, Brad, we kind of skipped the introductory part on accident there. If you don't mind, just kind of introduce people who you are, where you're from, what your home fish, what you would consider your home fishing waters.
Well, my name's Bradley Cross. I got the YouTube channel, BJC Outdoors. I live in North Alabama, about 20 minutes from the Tennessee River. That's primarily my body of water that I fish mostly. I do fish some inland lakes and some creeks and stuff, but mainly Wheeler, Pickwick, Wilson. I'm planning on going to Gunnersville, checking that out here real soon. But yeah, that's pretty much me.
Well, I know you got a couple girls, daughters that are into the outdoors and fishing and whatnot. So how many kids do you have, and how do they feel about the outdoors? I know one used to be a tournament partner with you.
Yeah, I've got 5 daughters.
Oh man,
they've all used to be into fishing. You know, of course, when they was younger, they all caught a 70-pounder before they was 12 years old. So then when I take them bluegill fishing or, you know, crappie fishing, it's like, well, that's just a little one, you know.
Yeah.
But
Mike.
I've got one of my daughters. She kind of hung in there with me. She hunted and fished with me for years until she got married, moved on, and she still fishes with me some. And we fished bass tournaments for 10 years. You know, I got completely out of catfishing until 2 years ago, and she was by my side the whole time. And I got another daughter. They still all like it, but they don't, you know, it's not priority to them anymore. You know, they're not just, you know, they used to hear all my fishing stories and stuff every day coming home. I kind of got tired.
Yeah.
I can't get mine to go with me no more, brother, at all. When they were little,
it's kind of hard for me, you know. Once they get grown, man, and kind of start their own life, it's hard to find time. You know, it's just hard to get together. Yeah. And then when you do decide to plan a day, the weather turns bad, or you know, it's just a lot goes into trying to plan a fishing trip.
Yeah, life gets in the way. You know, that's what my problem is. Our schedules, it's hard to get everybody lined up with a good schedule, and with the new little one on. So the one having the baby, she's the one that likes the outdoors the most. She still goes deer hunting and fishing on her own. She loves to hunt and fish. So she's got some bucks on the wall, and she's got some nice catches to brag about. She ain't got no 70 pounders yet. We don't see too many of them around here. But yeah, she's busy. But
my oldest daughter's got a bigger PB than
that's
I
the way
do.
mine is.
Oh yeah, bigger PB than you got.
Hey, we used to be.
There's Caroline's 80 pounder hanging on the wall. Yep.
That's a good one, man. I wish I had I don't never want to have one mounted, but I wish I had a replica done of my biggest one. But I tell people all the time, 15, 20 years ago in my area, 100 pounder was pretty common. But it's not that way anymore,
Yeah.
Because, and the reason I say that, because, I fish here all the time, and I do hang into some fish that I lose that could possibly be, a triple-digit fish. But you take like the se4 tournament, 150 of the best anglers in the world come down here and fish with all the new technology, and you never hardly ever hear anybody even getting into one that big,
Right.
And it's all over the lake fishing, from one end to the other.
That's Caroline's 80 right there. I'm holding up with two hands.
That's a monster, man. Where you at behind there, man?
Mine ain't no secret. I caught my PB live bumping Nickajack. I know you recently got into bumping and teaching yourself how to. I know you kind of like the walking the baits and low flow, but bumping is absolutely bumping.
Yeah, we're bumping addicts.
I know. I've been watching Mr. Bob for a while, trying to learn how to do it, because the problem we have here is the current, man. I don't know if y'all fish below Wheeler Dam. Well, all of our dams, it's so inconsistent. You'll set up on a good drift and have everything just right, and then all of a sudden they'll change it. Well, you change what you're doing, your weight size or your speed, and then 10 minutes later they change it. So I just found, for me here, it's easier for me to spot lock down or even throw out an anchor and walk baits back. Once you find the areas the spots that they're in, the holes and stuff like that, it's a lot easier to walk them. But I would rather bump because I can cover more water. But it's just so inconsistent here. Every now and then we'll get some good current. Well, like right now we got good current. You could actually bump, for probably a week straight. It'll be consistent current, and then all of a sudden they'll start backing off. And we get a lot of trash through here too. So they changed the turbines up, to move that trash around to get it to go down to the trash gate. So
it's so much wider down there where you're at. Like that. I've never bumped that down before, but it's so wide down there that I guess that water's got more room to spread out and change.
Yeah, it does.
According to how they open up the turbines, right?
Yes, sir, it does. It comes out of the dam. It's a mile wide. The dam, with the floodgates and all, it's a mile wide. So it comes out, instead of it going straight down the river like it does on a lot of the smaller, narrow rivers, it just comes out there and kind of just goes. Well, it mostly goes to the north because you got the bank on the south side. But and like I said, I'm new at it too. I probably could eventually figure out how to actually bump it, because there's always current there somewhere. It's just you got to have the right CFS coming through them dams, or for me anyway. Because our water's shallow, man. I'm bumping 10 foot, and and then it'll come up, and there's holes out there. I say 10 foot. It's 10 to 12 foot. But it may come up to 6 foot, a big rock pile, and then it may drop off a 20-foot hole. But that's another thing. It's so inconsistent with that shallow water that if you ain't got enough current, it's just hard to get anything to work right.
I don't know how many big fish I caught out of your last video where you walking baits back through that hole. I don't know how many big fish I've caught a 38-pound flathead out of that hole, bumping 50s and 60s out of that hole right there. But when you got good flow, it is hard because it's got rocks built up in front of it and then it drops off. So it almost always wants to hang me before I can get in that hole.
Devin, he got cut off on a big one the first day we was up there, and then I got cut off on one the last time I was down there by myself. And it changes too, with the current flow, it moves the fish around.
Yeah.
They may not be in that spot unless the current's just right, to be running over.
That's right.
And my problem too, I run a 24 volt system on a trolling motor, so it don't last very long.
Yeah.
Which when I bought that, I had no intentions of ever bumping current.
Yeah.
I tell everybody
need that 36 foot.
Yeah, I just upgraded to a 36, and it changed bumping completely.
Yes.
I'm able to do much more now with a 36 volt 112.
Well, it's so strong up there. We ran Devin's batteries down twice, and he's got those high dollar lithiums, and we ran his 36 volts down before noon both days. Running wide open. That seemed like where the fish was. At that time.
I tell you now,
you could leave the motor in gear too and help. Sometimes I do that depending on the current. Just leave the motor knocked in gear, and when I'm close to the water source, and then as I get further away from the dam, I'll kick it in neutral and turn the trolling motor up so you're not wearing your batteries down.
Yeah.
That's one technique I've learned over the years to do is use your gas motor.
I've got a kicker motor back there that I could use.
I've used my big motor. One time I know I've done a video there using my big motor, but I didn't use my trolling motor at all. I just put it in gear, and that's how light the current is. You just put mine in gear, and it was still really too fast. On that certain day. But it like I said, it changes from day to day. But I'm addicted to it. I love it, man. And I can't wait to get back down there and do it again. It's just
Yep. One of our best trips ever was bumping Nickajack, and I caught a 78. We caught like 6 over 50. I can't remember how many over 30. It was nuts. We were like two high school girls just giggling all day.
Hey, that'll make you sleep good at night.
Oh yeah.
That'll wear you out, man.
Oh yeah.
Especially in heavy water.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't remember what they was running. I thought Nickajack ain't very wide. Nickajack is about as wide as the Ohio River is here. Right. So Nickajack Dam. And if you can imagine what it looks like down there, my dam just dropped. We just dropped 6 feet, 7 feet in the last 3 days, and we're still running 118,000.
Wow.
We was running over 180,000. 180,000.
Wow.
Crazy, man. That water dropping like that, man. That's gotta mess things up,
Yeah, it will. It was steady there for a few days. I know Chris Souders and I kind of fished a lot of the same water, and he got out and got to bumping. He caught him at 55 first pass. I was like, gosh, I want to go. But then it ain't done nothing but nosedive since. I was like, man.
They're fixing to crank ours up to 50K in the next couple of days, so it's going to be on like chicken bone.
Chicken bone.
That's right.
Well, Brad, we know that you're learning the bumping technique. What would you say is your most consistent way to catch big fish? If you think of like your top 5 big fish, what do they all have in common?
Oh, man, I'll be honest with you. I do my best as far as consistent big fish suspending.
Really?
Yep. I catch. Now you won't catch a lot of fish that way, but you may not get but 5 bites the whole day. That's a big fish, but that's how I catch most of my big fish. And that season starts. Actually, it starts tomorrow for me. The suspending bite.
Are you drifting when you're doing it?
Yes.
Sometimes I like to sit still. I'll just mark some fish, and you find a couple big fish in an area and get up current from them and just suspend down, and they'll come get it, man. It's the most vicious strike other than bumping.
Oh yeah.
Other than bumping, it's just the most vicious bites you can ever see, man. Especially using live bait. I use live bluegill a lot of times, which right now I'll be using skipjack. But when you got a live bait on there, man, it's like they're gonna rip your rod off the boat.
Yeah, I like it when they make the rod jump in the rod holder and it vibrates through the boat.
Yeah.
Or you
And
go. Our favorite saying is 4 eyes deep.
Yeah.
Observer goes 4 eyes deep. That's it.
And see, for me, it's I only use 2 rods, and it's just a simple, easy, relaxing way to fish for me. You know, I just put 2 rods out, one on each side of the back of the boat, and I just kick back and wait. And I like dragging. You know, it's a lot more work in dragging, dragging planer boards and stuff, and it's all seasonal. You know, this time of year, you know, I'll start doing suspending, and but from November through February, I catch every big fish I catch. I'm anchored up, and I usually drag more in the spring. I'll drag, and then I'll stop for about a month and get on that suspending bite because everything's hungry right now. You know, our area they're full postpone. And then I'll go back to dragging. Once they settle down, kind of get a little sluggish again, I'll go back to covering water with planer boards. But it really all across the board, man. Anything I do can produce a big fish. You know, it's just being in the right area. You know, and it ain't easy sometimes. You know, people say, man, you make it look easy. It's not easy, man. You know, 'cause there's times I go out there and struggle.
We don't video that.
Yeah,
no.
You don't see the struggles.
No, and the thing is, on our lakes here, especially Wheeler Lake, it's a mile wide, and the fish can be anywhere. And you go out today and just absolutely wreck them, and go back tomorrow, and you got to find them again. They're not sitting still. They're not sitting up on structure. Anywhere that I fish, they're just out there. You know, just out there feeding in the channel, feeding up on the flats. They're not out there for anything other than feeding. And,
so how far out of spawn are you guys down there?
We're on Wheeler Lake. We're, from what I've seen, man, we're dead end. We're almost past post spawn. You know, really? We had an awesome day in that tournament, and I went back 2 days later and never caught a fish over 5 pounds, and I struggled to make a video. So that's how it changed in 2 days. What's
your water temperatures?
It's upper 70s. It's almost 80. Yeah.
Chris and Telly said they were down in the gorge today, and it was 69.7. So the water temperatures dropped in the last couple of days with all the influx of the rain.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. With all the rain we get, it'll cool it off, you know. And it can absolutely shut the bite down, you know, in the areas that I fish, especially shallow, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, out in I went down to a Pickwick the other day, and it was 76 up here on Wheeler, and I went down to Pickwick, and it was 68. So it's a big difference from lake to lake here, because down there, you know, it's a lot narrower than Wheeler Lake. Wheeler Lake gets all that sunshine and that shallow water.
Yeah.
Where Pickwick is narrow, you know, and deeper too. So it takes it a little longer to warm up. And down there, the fish are just now, from what I've seen, we're just going in the pre-spawn. And that's you know, that's only one dam. You know, there's one lake between it, 15 miles, and
that's crazy.
Totally different.
The water coming out of the bottom of Wheeler obviously is a lot cooler than the surface temperature. So right up there, at least close to the dam, you're going to get your coolest water in the entire pool.
And you know, it's different too. Like Wheeler Lake, you know, I'm speaking for mid lake where I normally fish, but upper lake it's probably different. And I know down lake, you know, closer to the dam where it's a mile wide and 50 foot deep, I'm sure them fish down there probably spawn all summer, you know. So they don't have big flats and stuff to spawn on. They just got coves and stuff like that. So it's different, man, all throughout the lake. You know, y'all guys know you can go anywhere on the lake and do something different and catch them, you know.
Yeah.
Because it just varies from one end to the other.
Well, one thing I noticed you do that I was going to ask you about, you know, I haven't watched all of your videos, but I've watched a few of them. I noticed in a couple of your videos, you're actually like beaching your boat. And kind of finding spots to get out of the wind and bank fish. How often do you do that and explain I know why you do it, but explain to the people in chat what the benefit of doing that is.
Well, for me, the only reason I actually started doing it was because, you know, Wheeler Lake gets rough, man. And the wind, well, all the lakes I fish here, if you get a wind blowing up the river, it's gonna get rough. So I started trying to find some places off the beaten path, where I could actually, mark a few fish on the depth finder or on side scan, and then pull up and beach the boat. It's a lot easier for me in the spring because the water's down, and even through the winter the water's down, so there's a lot of places to beach the boat. We're like right now, every place I beach it, the water's above the bank, so there's no way to beach. But that's why I don't know if any of y'all seen it. I got my poor man's power poles, what I call them. I got me some fiberglass rods that I cut,
Yeah.
7 foot, and I'll pull up like right now. If I want to do that, I'll pull up on the bank and just drive those down, one in the front, one in the back, and tie my boat to them. You can do the same thing with an anchor. I despise anchoring out the back of the boat because I've lost fish and had so many close encounters of losing them. And
I hate
when you're on camera, you don't want nothing to go wrong. So
but it does.
Already enough goes wrong already.
Oh yeah.
But
I like that strategy.
Yeah, it works good, especially in the spring when the fish are shallow. They're moving up. Pre-spawners and what I try to do, I find an area where they're moving in and out, like on the point of a big cove or something like that, and that's where I'll beach the boat or pin myself down, and that way you're catching fish going in and you're catching some coming out.
Yeah.
Now this time of the year I wouldn't do it because there's nothing up there right now. Well, unless I want to catch some channel cat. There's plenty of them up there, but the blues and the flathead, they're pretty much done their thing. There's still some flathead. I try not to mess with spawning fish. I don't like going in there where they're at, but I will get on the outskirts of that and catch them going in and out. And like I said, I say channel cat. I love to catch channel cat. I'm a big channel cat fisherman too. I don't get to do it much because a lot of people don't like to watch it. Especially people that fish for big blues and big flatheads. But that's how I started, man. When I was a kid, was catching channel cat, and I've got
one of our favorite trips of the year. We go several times a year. Is going to Sandusky Bay, and it is.
I've heard about that.
It is like one of the best channel cat fisheries on the planet, and we've had days. Honestly, me and Jackie and Zach have gone up there and caught 115 channel cats in a day.
Man.
And we did it live. It was live tournament.
That's awesome, man. It's hard to get those days to work out.
The average is, at the end of the day, we averaged it up at 11 pounds.
Man, that's awesome.
Yep. So
that's the thing here. We have a lot of channel cat, and there's some big ones here.
Yeah.
But you hardly ever catch one over 15 pounds. I'm sure some people do. Now I did catch one last year, I think, down on Pickwick. I didn't know it was a channel. It looked like a blue, and I wasn't paying attention. It was real cold that day, but I actually got it on video. Once I went back and looked at it, it was a channel cat, and it was around 30 pounds. I've heard of them being caught here 40, 45 pounds.
That's
I've never seen them that big. But, and you look at what DNR says, they're here, but nobody fishes for them. And it's just, I don't know. I hadn't figured out yet how to find the big ones in the Tennessee River. Now we do have some inland lakes here that run out into the Tennessee River that's got big channels that lakes that's been around for 50 years. But as far as the Tennessee River, I hadn't been able to put together a pattern to be able to just go out and target big channel cats. So.
Well, I got to be honest with you. Even up on the bay, I struggle to target just the big ones. Now you catch enough fish, you're gonna find some big ones. I mean, we got a lot of fish in that around 15 pounds. 15, 17, 13.
Yeah, but man, how can you go wrong with that? Catching 15 pounds.
It's a blast. I'm telling you what. I'm prepared every time we go up there. I'm going to bleed. I bleed every time. Those things go crazy. They fight like
they're mean, man. And for I guess the reason I'm kind of hung up on the channel cat deal, don't anybody really target them around here. They're trash fish. Now you have some people to go out and catch them to eat, just eater size. But as far as anybody actually going out and targeting channel, because the blues here, it's not easy, but you eventually gonna come across a good one. And same thing with a flathead. You know, we don't have we have plenty of flathead here, but they're not like a lot of the rivers or a lot of the lakes on Tennessee River that are just loaded with them. But the channel cat, they're plentiful. You know, and they'll never let you down. You know, if you're struggling, you can always go after channels and you're gonna catch one.
It'll help boost your confidence back up if you're having a bad day. It'll be like
they saved my day many times.
Well, in the summertime when they're thick at the dam, we like to and they're not running much flow. We like to free line drift for them, and they're fun just catching them on a little small circle hook and a piece of chicken and a swivel. That's all you need is run up to the base of the dam, drift down, and just throw your chicken out there, and they're a hoot, man, to catch. You can fill up a cooler real fast if you're hunting for meat.
You know, if they got the size of blues, you know, if a channel cat got over 50 pounds, 60, 70 pounds, that'd be a handful to handle right there, man. Because, you know, them things, they fight, you know, and they don't stop. You get them in the boat and they still fight, you know.
Pound for pound, they're tough little buggers.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think Lyle says it best. He said that a channel cat will fight you to the boat, he will fight you in the boat, and he will fight you getting out of the boat.
Yeah,
there's no drop. He doesn't lose any energy ever. He just nonstop. Yep. It looks like I didn't see that V in those guys. Catch Fish with Us team. They got a 28-pound channel cat on Saturday during the tournament.
Wow,
that's
a 19-pounder on 8-pound mono. Wow,
19-pounder on Sunday.
Hey, just to interrupt a minute, y'all see I got Brad's YouTube channel in the comment section and scrolling across the bottom. If you're not already subscribed to him, be sure you do that before you leave. Hook him up, man. He's got some good content on his channel.
Yep, and if you forget and you're watching after the fact, his channel link is in the description of tonight's video. So
I appreciate that, guy.
That's no problem.
Yep.
Now I've been watching you for I don't know. Maybe 6 months or a little more now. I ran across your channel somehow, and I was like, "Well, I like this guy." And I like.
He's almost more country than me.
He does got a little twang to him, doesn't
he? Yeah. I've grown up in a small town of Town Creek in Lawrence County, man. I don't even know what a lot of people say around here. I mean, it's just. So messed up. I think it's from hitting all the potholes we got on these country roads. Jacked us up.
It might be.
You stutter when you're driving, so it just sticks.
Yeah.
I can tell you one of the things that drew me in was the simplicity of your style. Is you got a big old flat bottom boat or big open boat. It looks humongous on video. I don't know what the size it really is. We got
only 16 feet on it, Brad.
It's 18.
Oh, is it 18? Okay.
Yeah, 18,
it looks like 30 foot long on video. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's huge.
I think it's kind of like I think they built the flat cat, the new flat cat. See how it's built? I think it's based off of my hull because I think it's 11 foot in the floor. It's open 11 foot by 84 inches.
Wow.
So it's got a big floor. Reason I actually got that boat, man, I've had one before and I sold it when I started fishing bass tournaments like an idiot and bought me a bass boat. But when I got back into catfishing 2 years ago, I bought the same exact rig I had, the 1872. And but really, man, I want to be able to take disabled folks out, man. Some people, if they can't get around real good or they got a wheelchair, we roll them off in there, lock them down, they still be able to fish. And two, it helps me out, having that room,
Oh yeah.
Because I fished out of some CR that's kind of decked out and with a steering wheel and stuff. And for me, they're just too crowded for me, for my style of fishing. I mean, I'm sure I would get used to it, and I definitely would enjoy a windshield in the wintertime. But it's just I try to keep things as simple as possible, man. And I'm all for if a man wants to go buy $80,000-$100,000 catfish boat. Hey, more power to him. I'd love to have one, but I don't need it. But I just try to show people, you can keep it simple. But my boat wasn't cheap. My CR, rigged out, they're $30,000 now. And
Yeah.
Mine in 2020, I think it was around 25,000. For that, just a plain flat bottom with a tiller handle on it. So they're not cheap either. But you don't have to have it. You don't have to have a new boat. I've told people that before. You can go out in an older boat or get you a little 48, 14 John boat. Just something big enough to handle the water that you're fishing.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I enjoy my boat, and I've had one before, like I said, and I kind of know the do's and don'ts, of building one back like I had, and what I did wrong on the first one, not to do on this one, and so that's kind of reason I went with that. And I do a lot of creek fishing, crappie fishing, stuff like that. So I didn't really need a 24-foot boat, because you can't even turn around as I go to. But like I said, there's times when I wish I had a windshield, enclosure, and when you fish with somebody that's got all that stuff.
Yeah, Spencer spoiled you, didn't it?
Oh man, I'm telling you, he had that diesel heater in that thing, man, and it was just, it keep your coffee warm. I mean, it's like, I couldn't believe it, man. That's the first one I actually fished in that had an enclosure, and for me, trying to do YouTube, I'm only off work 2 days a week. Which I own my own business, so I can try to pick those 2 days a week. But at the same time, it starts raining, I'm done. I can't film in the rain.
Yeah.
If the wind's blowing, it's real, real cold. I'll suffer in the cold. I can handle the cold, but and stuff like that, it kind of puts a dilemma on my plan sometimes. But only thing I'm going to do to mine, I'm going to put a bimini top on it. I am going to order me a bimini top, and
I did that Friday.
Hey, you need it, man. One thing, keep that beaming sun off of you in the summer. That sun's dangerous, man. And not to mention how hot it.
I've fished twice in the rain since I put it on, which was nice, and my camera didn't get wet. So I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I fished with Devin in that tournament, and he kept his bimini up. Most of the time we fished that whole week, and it rained the whole week. And I thought, man, even if I wouldn't fish in the tournament, I wouldn't have been able to come out and fish, do any filming. And for me, I don't even go unless I'm filming, because you can't miss that opportunity, because the next time I go and can film, it may not be fit for filming.
Yeah. Every time I think about going and just having a relaxing day and not worrying about the camera, I'm like, what if I catch my PB and I'm going to have a camera running?
Yeah.
A new PB or a new state record. I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
I need to start thinking like that.
And set everything up. I mean, you never know.
That's true, and it more likely it'll happen when you're not hooked up, ready to go. I've lost some of the biggest fish I've caught. Well, not really this year, but last year. I struggled with. Well, y'all know how it is trying to film, man. Something go wrong, camera cuts off. You don't hear it. You all caught up in a moment of trying to get a fish in a boat, and then when you get home, start going through the footage, do all the editing, it ain't there, or your volume's off. Can't hear you talking, It's just it's a lot harder than people think, man. I got so frustrated when I first started. I almost quit, but I was too far into it.
Camera overheats, mic quits working. You forget to turn the camera on or off at the right time. You forget I mean, there's just like a million things that you've got to be doing other than just trying to catch the fish.
Yeah,
it's so frustrating.
So, Brad,
go ahead.
I was going to ask if you run your camera continuous, or do you use hindsight, or how do you prefer to use yours?
It just depends, man. Like if I'm bumping or walking baits, you might have to have it on all the time, because if you're not, you're going to miss something. Because mine, I use a remote 9 times out of 10. I got mine on set with a remote. And if I'm out there dragging baits or even suspended or anchored, I'll keep my camera off record until I think I'm seeing a bite. And the reason, I'll tell you the reason I do that, because, I know a lot of people leave theirs on continuous, but I just can't sit at the computer for 6 or 8 hours and edit it, man. That just drives me nuts. But I can cut my camera off and on, through the exciting moments. And then I get home and I got, a couple hours of editing instead of, sitting at the computer for 6 to 8 hours. Now I may be doing it wrong. There may be other ways to do it faster, but for me,
looping,
barely knowing how to cut it wrong, that works best for me.
Looping.
Well, I run my I run my what I call my bow cam in looping mode, which means it's continuously filming the whole time, and I've got it on the external battery, so I'm not dependent on the internal battery. And plus, it'll overheat in looping mode if you have the battery in it. So I always run the bow cam without a battery, and I run it in looping. And the thing about looping is, as long as you're filming, you're catching everything. And then after you catch your fish, you show the fish, you release the fish, you go turn the camera off, and it saves that clip, that 20-minute clip.
20 minutes.
And then you turn the camera back on, and it starts to cycle all over again. So basically, I have about 2 hours of footage out of a 6-hour trip to edit down if I'm running my camera in looping mode. So it kind of does the same thing as turning the camera off or on. But the only problem with looping is if you forget to turn the camera off after all the action and you release the fish, then it's going to overwrite that if you don't turn that camera off and then turn it back on. So you gotta train yourself to, as you're filming, you catch the fish, you show the fish, you release the fish, go turn, or set your GoPro on. I set mine with my voice activated, and I say, after I'm finished, I say, GoPro stop recording. And then you'll hear it go beep, beep, beep. And then I say, GoPro start recording, and you'll hear it beep, beep. It'll start back up again. So I know that I've saved that footage and I'm moving on to my next bit of footage. So looping is awesome until you forget to stop the camera in between action. It's always catching that action.
So with the,
it's not perfect.
With turning it on and off like you do, if you turn on the feature hindsight, it will capture the last 30 seconds. So even if, like, let's say rod goes down and you're like, oh man, and then you hit record, but you missed the takedown. But if you got it on hindsight, it'll go back and save the last 30 seconds before you hit record. So it'll start recording plus the 30 seconds before you hit record.
I didn't even know that was a feature. I'll have to look into that.
It's called hindsight.
What is that? I've got the newest model I've got is a 12, a Hero 12.
I've got a 9.
That's what it got, 9. So I don't know anything about mine. My wife set mine up, and I haven't touched anything on it, man. I'm like, I don't even go inside of it, try to see what I can change. But I know there's some features like y'all talking about, to make it easier. But for me, I went with a remote, and I have more trouble out of the mic than anything, because it has to recognize that mic. Because I used to film with just an external, just a mod. I didn't have a mic on me. But you get in the back of the boat, or you got to look at the camera for it to hear you. And so I got me a wireless mic and went that route. And for a long time, I was hollering in the mic because I was still turning around talking to the camera like I didn't have one.
Yeah.
And even now with my mic, sometimes if I have to fish a long day, sometimes if I don't keep my mic batteries charged, my mic will go out, and I don't know it. I'll be sitting there filming for an hour, no audio at all. And
done it.
And then when I unplug it, try to go old school like I was, then I got to remember, look, you got to turn and talk to this camera. And it's very hard, man. It's hard to break old tricks like that, man. When you've been doing it for so long.
You got wind noise. You got the water slapping against the hull of the boat. There's so many things. Like a lot of times before I started using a mic, when I was up there bumping at the dam, we got that railroad bridge right there, and there's always a train going across that bridge. But sometimes the noise from that train would be so loud you couldn't hear a word I'm saying. And so the mic really helps. I keep my receiver right here on my neck, where my neck cam is at. And actually my neck cam acts as a backup audio source, because if I'm fighting a fish, I'm usually running that camera, and that helps. If something goes wrong with the audio on the camera that's up on the bow, then I have a second source of audio from the neck cam, because it's right here under my chin, and you can hear it real clear. So yeah.
Another thing I ran into,
so many things go wrong
with the mic that the wireless mic I ran into. I was putting it too close to me, when I get into a big fish. Of course, I'm still like a kid with that, man. My adrenaline gets pumping And I got to watch my video, man. I'm like, dude, I sound like I'm fixing to have a heart attack out here, breathing
blowing it out.
But I finally figured out that I had the mic too close to me, and I dropped it down about 2 foot. But I dealt with that for a long time because I didn't realize my adrenaline was getting up like that, and I was breathing so hard. But I was like, man, that sounds like I'm dying, But yeah, you got to, it's a lot goes into it. But I try to keep it simple. I run one camera. I'm probably gonna go with two eventually to get some better footage, and I keep me from having to talk into the front camera all the time. I could just talk into the back.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, in the summertime, those GoPros get so hot that I had to build I took a little computer fan, a little tiny 12-volt computer fan, and actually put rubber bands on it. And I've got I soldered a long cord on it, and I put it on the back of my GoPro. And in the summertime, I'll have to blow air on that GoPro to keep it from overheating. Because it doesn't matter if you got a 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way up. They all overheat.
Yeah.
So in the summertime, you either need to shade it or put a fan on it.
Yeah. I noticed with mine, it was more the batteries would get hot because I had some batteries that swell up in mine that I couldn't even get out till they cooled off.
Yeah.
Yep.
And but I usually, like in the summer when it's hot, I only fish till around 10 o'clock. I'll try to do a video, till 10, 11 o'clock before it gets too hot, which is certain times of the summer, it's hot already. When you get out there, you're sweating.
Yeah.
Or then I'll go late in the evening. But yeah, that's a struggle, man. It's always something. And I know people run other cameras and they all overheat,
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, you get thing. And now I could go out there and just go bluegill fishing and not trying to film, and my camera run all day on one battery and never get hot, 100 degrees. But if I'm trying to make a legit decent video, then something usually goes wrong.
How do you do on the views on the crappie videos? Because I personally really enjoy the crappie videos.
It did okay, man. I think I've got more of a catfish based following.
Yeah.
So that's what I started with. And when I first started this YouTube, I was going to be, I don't know if y'all ever heard of a guy named Richard Gene, the fishing machine.
Oh, everyone's heard of Richard Gene.
Yeah.
Well, he lives down in your neck of woods.
I was going that style because I love to fish for everything, from bluegill up to big catfish and everything in between. But I don't know how he does it, man. I got way too many rod and reels and stuff as it is just for catfishing. But I'll get back to your question. They did okay. But I love the crappie fish. It's just the time of the year that they are easy for me to catch. The catfishing is good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd rather,
that's the problem.
Catfish. Now I will go catch me some to put in the freezer, to eat. But yeah, they do okay. And I'm, like I said, I'm going to venture out and do some other things, on my channel. Like I said, big catfish is really my passion, but I do enjoy fishing for anything, from bluegill, shellcracker, crappie, even bass. I might throw a bass video in there every now and then. I could always say I'm using them for bait, and everybody would watch it.
There you go. There you go. Make the bass guys mad.
Yeah.
Hey.
Speaking of bait, have you had issues getting skipjack below wheeler this year like we have up here below Chick?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, it's been terrible for the last several years. Yeah, it's been bad here for the last several years. They changed our limit. They dropped it down to 50 and kind of changed the rules on the sales, here. But they're still getting by with it. All the bait stores are still full of skipjack. They're getting around the laws and but they are making. I seen them making a little comeback this past fall. So they are making a comeback, but and they will, they come back real quick. As long as they can keep the over harvesting down, But yeah, it used to be easy. I struggle more with bait than I do big catfish.
Yeah. Well, I told Roger the only upside of the skipjack shortage this year has been that it's forced me to learn how to throw a cast net again. I knew how 2 years ago, when I was fishing at the beach a lot more than in the ocean. But then I kind of stopped and forgot how to throw one. So this year I really polished up my cast net game.
Yeah.
Finding shad and red horse suckers. I mean, just finding bait. It's been a struggle.
Yeah, that was me. I had to end up going with bluegill, which bluegill's a good bait, but it's all seasonal here. It seems like,
Yeah.
but you can catch bluegill year round. But I didn't know that struggle. See, like I said, I got out of catfishing for 10 years, and when I got wound up in the bass tournament, so when I started back catfishing, man, the bait was it had declined big time. You could used to go down below water and catch a cooler full in 30 minutes, and that was my thing. I'd go catch me a cooler full of bait, go home and vacuum seal them, put them in the freezer, and I'd have plenty of bait for a month or two.
Yep.
And but when I started back, 2 years ago, it's not the same. I've had to travel to catch bait in other places.
Yep.
I got some good friends that live downriver from me. They let me know when they move up in their area, and I go down there and catch me some. And but they're frozen. I got to freeze them. It's not as good, but you got to do what you got to do.
That's right. You sure do.
We use a lot of we don't, our skipjack, we don't have quite the population. We'll have a run of them here now for the next month or two. About this month, actually. I forgot it's already May. Yeah, the rest of this month we'll be able to catch some skipjack and do okay. But majority of the year for us, it's gizzard, shad, live bluegill, crappie. We caught a mess of crappie today, and I cleaned them. We cleaned them all, and I saved all their heads.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's the thing in Alabama. They got us so tied down with what we can use. We can only use bluegill. We can't use crappie. Can't use white bass. All we can use is either a shad or a bluegill. Now you can use some of what they call trash fish, carp and stuff like that. But
yeah,
they just, and we got more white bass here than we do bluegill.
Yeah.
I don't know. The people that normally make those laws don't even fish. So they don't see it on the river like we do.
Oh yeah, we went up to Pickwick, caught skipjack, and Jackie and Zach just decided that we had enough skipjack, and they wanted to catch some hybrids, and they just went to town tearing up some hybrids. Man, they were like one after another. Jackie was using her chasing Jack's rod, and she was putting, I think, a 2-ounce sinker on it, getting that bait down there, Foley spoon, and them white bass were just tearing her up.
Oh yeah, they're very thick in this area, man, and they're dominant fish too. So I feel like they, even with the skipjack being the limits being lower on them, and them cutting out the sales here in this area, as far as catching them here and selling them, I still think you got so many white bass, they just slaughtering the hatch,
Yeah.
But I feel like that'll change eventually.
Well, hopefully that new law will help restore the skipjack population to you guys.
Yeah,
I think it'll help. I still think, like you said, there's guys that's going to go around the rules, find loopholes, because I'm sure there are some, and find a way to overharvest. But it's going to cut down a lot, I think, because just like us, like we come down to fish the Sea Arc tournament, and it's like you could buy some skipjack when you get down there in the past if you can't catch it yourself, and you can find somebody if you want to do it. It's like a drug deal, and now you got in a dark parking lot somewhere. You got the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no doubt, man.
But
if you buy it in the local stores, you don't know how old it is. It could be a month old, and it's even though they seem like they do a pretty good job of vacuum sealing it, you don't. And, in a tournament, you put all that time and money in, you want to, have a fresh bait you can possibly find.
I've not seen a commercial skipjack fisherman take as good as care of the bait that I take care of my bait yet. I've never been happy with any commercial fisherman that I feel like to buy bait from. There's a few that I would trust to buy some, but even then it would be a last resort if I couldn't get my own.
Oh yeah, I only bought boat once, and I said I'd never do it again. It's kind of crazy, being on the river as much as I have. But when I first started YouTube, it's been almost 2 years. I did good in the fall. I could catch a few skipjack, enough to fish with. And but wintertime rolled around. That's when it got tough. So I ended up having to buy some from a guy, and I think I ended up giving $100 for 30. And that's cheap, from what they get now.
Oh yeah.
But still, I was like, it cost me $60 to go get them because he was, pretty good ways from here. And
Yeah.
by the time I got home and everything, I had $200 and 30 skipjack, and I was like, man, there ain't no way that I will ever do that again. So that's when I resorted to bluegill, or like Mr. Bob said, I learned how to throw that cast net a little better and started catching me some shad. I do good on gizzard shad here in the wintertime, for sure.
Oh yeah.
And I probably can do good year round. I just, if I can get skipjack, I'll use skipjack. And the number one bait for me here, and I don't get any. I actually caught 2 today, and I was like a kid in the candy store, man, with suckers. These big blues, you're to love suckers.
Oh yeah.
I love red horse suckers, man. That's a
I'll
really
cut
good
up a sucker any day.
Yeah, they're tough. They stay on the hook, a long time. Yeah. They got seems like they got a lot of oils and stuff in them. They keep their flavor a lot longer.
That I like a common carp out of all of them, really. They just you cut up a common carp. What I like to do is I'll chunk them up, and then I'll put them in a Ziploc bag and just let them soak in their own blood and everything. But you cut up a common carp and you cut up like a buffalo or anything like that and put it in a bag, it is night and day difference how much bloodier and oilier the common carp is over the buffalo, quailback, even a red horse sucker, any of those carp or sucker family. The common carp, that the bright orange ones, they will bleed unbelievably more than the rest of them.
It must be a fatty fish too.
Yeah. Yep. It is. Like, you could tell when you put it in the water, you could see the oil slick come off of it, like like Walmart parking lot, when it rains.
Yep.
But
well, Brad, I know you're like me. You're ripping lips now. You want to? You can tell people you got some discount codes. They can go to these websites that I put in chat and save themselves a little money.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
With Ripping Lips. They're a great company, man. Alex, he's a great guy, and his partner. They took me on, I guess, 4 or 5 months ago. They make great rods, inexpensive rods. They'll hold anything in the Tennessee River. I do know that. I don't, and probably more. But yeah, I got a code for them. If you're interested in any of their rods, I think they just came out with a new line that's awesome. I can't wait to get my hands on those. You got any of those yet, Bob?
I got 4 heavies on the way of their anchor rods, the HDs. They're somewhere in New Jersey. They've been all around the country, so they're making a tour of the country.
That's what happened to mine the last I ordered. It took them, I think it took them 20-something days to get here, but when I got them, I was tickled to get them. But yeah, I've got a code with them. It's BJC 10. And I got another company that I really like their hooks. Y'all check them out if you want to. It's Mid-Atlantic Catfish. I've had great success with their hooks. If you're going to buy any, check out that Bounty Hunter. They've got a lot of hooks, but that's my favorite.
Is that a straight shank or is that octopus style?
It's an octopus. It's kind of, to me, it reminds me of a Gamma, which is awesome. It's an awesome hook. I used it for years, but that's a little pricey. And then
are they offset too?
Yeah, they're offset.
Are they offset? Yeah. I gotta have an offset.
They're that's a big deal right there. I've had real good success with them. Every hook has its place. It's not good for some things I do. As far as suspending, I use a J hook for suspending, which is a Challenger hook. It's actually their hook, Mid-Atlantic Catfish hook, that I'm fixing to try to use it. Never used it before, but anyway, the code for that Mid-Atlantic is BJC 15. You save 15% with them.
There you go.
And I did. I was blessed to get hooked up with Steve Douglas, man, with Monster Rod Holders. He took me on with him, and I've got a code with them. Yeah, most people know Monster Rod Holders. I ain't got to say nothing about them, man. They're just, everybody don't use them, but for me, they're definitely one of the best, if not the best out there. But the code with it is BJC10, and you can save 10% with them on anything. And I love their nets, man.
Oh yeah, the AC80 is my go-to.
Yeah, that's I got one of those, and I've been using. I know y'all seen my old bent handle net I've been using since I started back. I bought it at a yard sale for $15, and I zip tied all the hose up, and that's what I've been using. And Mr. Steve sent me one of them HD80s, man, and hey, I love it. Light, big.
He felt sorry for you, Brad.
I think he did. I think that's what it was all about. He seen my net, you know. Yeah, I was kind of embarrassed. I always, when I put my videos out, I always watch them one time and look for my mistakes because I do make them. And when I see my old net on there, man, I was like, that thing's bent 6 inches, you know. And what I started trying to flip it over and catch the fish the other way, and it worked. And bent it back. But it for me, you know, I just couldn't. I try to keep things as least expensive as I can, and that net done its job. And
that's right.
I couldn't make myself pay $150 for a new net, although I did need one, and I've wanted one for years. Yeah. But it was a blessing that he sent me that, man, and I was tickled to death. My wife actually called me before I got home because she knowed how excited I'd be when I got home and seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I got a hack for you for that. I got an old video, but I'll just tell you, if you pop out the clip, and you may already know this from any other net, but pop out the clip and fill that handle with grape foam, and it will not sink.
Really?
Yeah.
All the new ones float, I think.
What's that?
I said, I think all the new HD80s float.
Oh, do they?
He's already foam filled them.
I got you. When I first got my HD80, I don't know how many years ago, several, I put a video out of me filling up grape foam, but, you know, and showing that it'll float if you ever drop it, lose it in the water. But, yeah, it might already float. I didn't know he was filling them already.
He's putting foam in them now.
Never mind. I had to delete that video.
No, I mean, I still have one of the old handles, too. I need to fill it with foam. I'm just lucky I haven't lost it.
It'll work on just about any of the other nets except for extendable handles. I got an RS net out there that has the extendable handle. You can't fill it with foam.
You can't do that. One thing I like about it is the I guess it's a fiberglass or a carbon handle. It's light, and when I'm bumping in that heavy current up at the dam, I can take that rod in my left hand and grab that net with my right hand and scoop the fish up and, you know, get him in the net with at least one-handed, and then put the rod down and get the net and bring it in the boat with both hands.
Yeah.
You know how much distance I got between my dam and those railroad pylons. So you got to get that fish in the net and hurry.
Get it done quick. Yeah.
You got to get it done.
That's my thing too. I picked up many nets, even at CatCon. I looked at some nets and picked them up, and I was like, man, these things is heavy. You know, y'all like me, you know, if you're out there by yourself, you know, that's hard, you know, to be trying to fight a big fish with a 30-pound net in your hand. And so I was like, well, but when I got this one, I was shocked, you know, at how light they actually are.
How light, yeah. My little dog sitting back here snoring behind the Oreo is. He's just sawing logs. I'm like, what does that sound? She's back here snoring a 13-pound Jackawawa. Snoring.
Brad, since how you was late coming in, we held you over 9 o'clock. So,
ain't no big deal, man.
I just realized a few minutes ago that it was 9 o'clock. I was like, holy crap, this went fast. It went really fast.
Yeah.
It's fine, man. I done a podcast with Spencer, and his is 2 hours long.
Oh wow!
So
I believe Spencer can talk 2 hours and never miss a beat.
Yeah,
I try to catch his, and I always forget. I barely make it.
Yeah,
time to do this show. He's still doing it. Is it Thursday nights or Wednesday nights?
He was doing them on Wednesday. I don't know if he's still doing them right now or not. He went back home to Iowa, so I think he's doing a lot of fishing out there. But, I hadn't seen
him. Did he
him
move back to Iowa?
Well, no, he just never fully left Iowa. He just, but he
I
did.
thought he was living in Alabama now.
Well, he did. He has a place here too, but he went. He goes back to Iowa in the summertime and gets on those flatheads, and
nice.
And he was just down here through the winter time. So.
Nice.
That's the life.
Might be warmer down here.
Yeah. I was gonna make that comment earlier, and Brad said I'll suffer through the cold. I was like, I don't think you quite get the cold I got.
It gets pretty cold, man. I've been out there, with it 18 degrees, the wind chill, around zero, the line freezing up in your eyes, the rods, and
That's cool.
which I try not to go. I try not to go on those days, if I can help it. But it seems like
Trolling motor
fishing,
froze to the deck of the boat.
yeah.
Prop frozen.
But here, I don't know why it seems like the fishing is just awesome on those days, when it's really, really miserable. But I've got good clothes for it. I stay warm, I stay freeze to death. But your hands still gonna get cold. And of course, for me, got that tiller handle. My hands get cold even with gloves on, and then your face, which I wear a mask when I'm running and everything. But yeah, it gets pretty tough, man. But like I said, I justified comfort, when I bought that boat, and I knowed it. But I didn't never plan on doing YouTube. Or having to run all over the place. But for me, I'm blessed here on Tennessee River. We got ramps everywhere, and instead of me running, now there's times I'll run 15, 20 miles down the river or up the river because I end up going to the wrong place, where the fish just ain't biting. But most of the time, I hardly ever leave sight of the ramp, within 4 or 5 miles, from where I put in. But it don't always work out that way. Like I said, I end up in the wrong place, wrong time a lot, and I have to make a run. But in the wintertime, I try my best to put in as close to where I'm going to fish.
Well, if I have to put gas in my boat more than once a month, I get upset.
Once a month? Good Lord. We're fishing.
I fish the same time. Stop, Roger.
I'm fishing a tournament Saturday, and we're going to make a run 35 miles one way.
Oh man, that's rough, bro.
Yeah.
For me, I've got a 9-gallon tank in my boat, and I fill it up maybe 4 times a year. And that's
I've got a 60.
You say 16?
60. That boat has a 60-gallon tank.
Good night.
Yeah,
I don't
want to fill it up.
My old girl is thirsty. I got a 1990 Johnson 150 GT, and it is a thirsty girl.
Oh yeah, I bet. With the carburetors on it, you can guarantee it will be.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. Like mine, it's just a 90-horse tiller handle, but if I run it, wide open, it'll suck that gas. That 9-gallon don't last very long. But like I said,
I was going to mention too. You're talking about troller batteries and the life on it running. If you have Bluetooth batteries, or if you happen to have a meter hooked up to your batteries, when you go from speed 7 to 8 or 9, the draw is almost double. So if you're on 10, it's like quadruple 7.
Oh yeah.
And if you can stay at 7 or less, you got some run time on you. But anytime you go over 7, like for me, I never try to go over 7 unless it's like an emergency or I've really, really got to get somewhere. Or doesn't matter battery life. I'm going to be going home soon. But if you stay at 7 or lower, if you have a meter or an app on your phone, you can watch that draw go through the roof. Because I sat there and watched my batteries one day. It was going through the speeds, and it was a little bit of increments each time. It rained buckets on us tonight. 3rd place. All right, man. Tommy and his kids, he teaches a bass fishing team, and I think you guys were sitting 2nd overall in the points race. I don't know where this third place finish will put you, but Tommy and his kids are kicking butt, man.
That's awesome, man.
I mean, if you're into bass and ditch pickles and stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, it's very different, man. That was
I tried it once.
Problem almost to me when it was hard for me to quit. It was the competition, man, that I love.
Yeah.
With the bass fishing, just being out to go out there and you have to enjoy it for one thing. Keep it fun, especially with a kid.
Oh, big boys tonight! I got
that competition, man. It's addictive,
Yeah, I used to fish crappie tournaments competitively for money, and man, it's some tough days.
Yeah, it's kind of like a slot machine. You drop a little money in there, and it takes it, and then you drop a little more in there, and it takes it, and then you want to try to get it all back. And this is what tournament fishing was for me. That's why people ask me all the time, man, why don't you fish these tournaments around here? Man, I don't need that no more. You know, I will probably continue to fish the Sea Art tournament every year, as long as my partner wants to fish it. You know, but as far as me getting back in it, man, it took so much time away from my family, away from other things I wanted to do. You know, because like I said, I went full blown bass fishing, so all my off days I was pre fishing or either fishing a tournament. So I didn't get to do any catfishing, crappie fishing, you know, bluegill, shellcracker. I didn't get to do any of that type of fishing that I love to do. It was all bass fishing. And and once I got out of it, you know, 10 years later, I'd realized what I'd missed, and I was still way in the hole. No matter how many I won, I was I was still in the hole. So, but it was fun, man. I enjoyed it. Like I said, if you keep it fun, you know, and do it because you love it, not because you know, just doing it. I mean, everybody does it to win, but if that's the only reason you do it is to win, then you're probably going to get out of it pretty quick.
What's up, Tommy?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we made the call this year to step back from. We did an online tournament series with everybody, and then we did I can't beat Bobcat, so I just quit.
That little guy's tough to beat, man. Him and the shizzle.
What the
dangerous?
No, we did some in-person tournament series here too, and then we did the online tournament series, and it took a lot of time away from everybody, and I kept finding myself. People would ask me to take them fishing, and I'm set up with operations vets with nets and taking veterans out and stuff. And I kept finding myself saying, I can't take this person out, or I got this tournament, or I got that tournament. And we decided this year, and it might only be just for this year, but we took a step back, making everything fun fishing and just enjoying our time. But we are fishing.
They've cut back this year to once a month, so it's not too bad.
That does.
A month.
Yeah, that does help it out a lot. And if they leave it that way, we'll probably be back in it next year. But we're doing the Cancer Research Benefit Tournament Saturday. That's right now, June 7th. That's the Disabled Veterans Outdoors event. That's actually one of my favorite events of the year. We take disabled veterans out of Sandusky Bay and put them on channel catch. And
let them reel them in.
Oh man, we got this lady. She hadn't fished in 22 years, and wanted to do some fishing, and she got hooked up with me and Zach, and we took her out and we caught 47 fish.
Oh man!
In like 4.5 hours, and she was blown away, man. She giggled. We went live. First time I ever get her on the boat. We're like 30 minutes in. She's caught. I think first hour she caught 24 fish or 23 fish in the first hour. And we're like, what the? And she's like, let's go live. Or maybe that was the year after. I can't remember. And we went live and she just had a ball. We pull in this year, last year actually. And she's waiting for us in the parking lot. So what's going on? Like, you or my guys? We're like, okay, that's no problem. She's like, we got to beat 47. I was like, that's a tall order. Like, I don't know, we can beat 47. So we took her out this year and we caught 63 catfish in about 5 hours.
Nice.
Or 6 hours. I'm not sure. It might have been 6 hours. And we
that's
told her
constant action right there.
We told her when we come back in and say, you are not fishing with us next year. You're not putting that kind of pressure on me to beat 63.
I don't need that.
Not only that, but after the event's over, they feed them big meal and they raffle and they give away all kinds of prizes and stuff. It's awesome event. But she goes in there and starts bragging to everybody how many fish she caught. And I was like, oh, you know, some of the guys that come up and do it, you know, they just want to come out and take somebody out. And for most of these people, catching anything is a great day. And, you know, so they might only caught, 10 fish for the day. And she's over telling them, I got 63 fish today. Like, man, we only caught.
Making everybody jealous.
She brought her whole table to our table and said, tell them how many fish we caught. I said, we caught 7. She said, you liar, don't tell them that. I said, let me guess. She's telling you we caught like 60-some fish. She's like, yeah, she was. And I was like, She's like, we really did.
Lie.
So now.
Don't listen to her.
Yeah, now we got everybody else saying, I want to go with those guys. Yeah. But, I mean, there's a lot of great Tommy's up there, too. Tommy catches a ton of good fish. He catches. Now, see, earlier I said I catch a lot of fish at Sandusky Bay, but I've never had much luck at finding the 20+ pounders. The Tommy does. Tommy goes up there and finds them big fish. He knows how to hunt them big ones down.
Yeah, Channel Cat Magnet, huh?
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Tommy can catch any fish anywhere. He's a multi-species angler. I got to take more raffle money. Man, they raffle off so much stuff. It's insane. Buy these raffle tickets, and then they just go through prizes like it takes a while. But anyway, we'll do a show about that some other time. We'll let Brad finish up here, and we'll get him on out of here. It's 9:20.
Yeah, we've been on a minute. Yeah, y'all be sure to check out Hog Legs if he's live after the show. Y'all go over there and drop in and hang out for a little bit.
Yep, I had the kids tournament stuff pulled up, but let me drop his link real quick, and be sure to tell him that. No, that's Big Mike's live too.
We have his.
Where'd he go? There we go. Boar's
He'll
Nest.
probably be live every day this week.
Oh, right.
There's so many people hanging out together.
Yeah.
You got something for some shoes.
Let me go here. Copy.
Well, thank you for coming on, Brad. Man, we enjoyed having you on. I've been wanting to pick your brain and talk to you ever since I kind of started seeing your videos pop up on YouTube.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I was looking forward to it. So this kind of out of my element, doing this live deal here, but
you did just fine,
bro. Yeah, you did.
I enjoy the content. I could see that how you're evolving, though. I'm like some of your video cuts, your music and stuff. I've seen you evolve since I started watching you. You're getting.
Yeah, I try to change it up a little bit, man. Fishing with Spencer helped me a lot because he's been doing it a long time.
Yeah,
and he kind of gave me some do's and don'ts, and some of it worked and some of it don't. For me, because of course he's been doing it a while and he's got a lot of a different following and a lot more people. But I just try to change it up, man. Not complicate it. It took me several tries to ever figure out how to get music on there that wasn't playing backwards. And it's just something else, man, to try to, just something different. That's out of my element too. But like I said, I'm learning along the way.
You're doing great.
Yeah, that's
just
what
continue to be you, and I think one of the hardest things for me has been just getting comfortable in front of the camera. But you just have to remind yourself to be real, be you, and then people will respond.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest part of doing what we do on YouTube is just getting used to talking to the camera like there's somebody in the boat with you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the hard part.
It is. And I thank God every day for being able to do what I do, man, because this kind of all started with that deal. I lost my dad in 2020 to cancer. And, back in my younger days, I mean, some people did, some people didn't, but I was pretty wild, alcohol and marijuana and stuff like that. And went through a rough life. I even sold drugs for 10 years, back in my younger days. Well, I found God later on in life and turned my life around. And then I finally, I messed around and got around the wrong people again and started screwing up. But I didn't really fall back into everything I used to do. Anyway, make a long story short, when I lost my dad in 2020, I started back drinking to cope with it. And with the whole time, all I needed was God back in my life, man. And
that's right, brother.
It took me two years to figure that out. I drank heavy just like I did when I was a young guy. And one day God just reached down here and grabbed me by the collar and said, "Boy, this ain't you," And so I was able to kick the habit of drinking 2.5 years ago. I hadn't had a drop since. And I give him
that desire away from you. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, at that time, I was basically just staying at home doing nothing. I cooked all the time, smoked meat and grilled and stuff like that. Just drinking, having a good time. Thought I was having a good time, but when I quit all that, I had to find something to do, man, with my time. Because when you go from partying every day of the week, or at least 3 or 4 days a week, so I was like, God, just tell me, give me something to do, man. I'm ready to do your work and spread the gospel. So And he just told me one day, man, YouTube. And I was like, man, are you, hey, that's not me.
Yeah.
And even my wife was like, are you sure you want to do this? Because man, I'm shy. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all, I know if y'all watch some of my videos, it's hard for me to still look at the camera. I catch even right here now, I'm still struggling to look at y'all. But anyway,
well, we're ugly. So
Probably him. Yeah.
But I started a YouTube deal, man, and I was like, okay, then where we go from here? And I was at church one Sunday, and there was a guy they did the altar call, and the guy was standing up there in front of me with a shirt on, said "Man of God" on the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
And God, just like he spoke to me right there, he said, that's what I want you to do. So I've got me some shirts made. Of course, they're all summer shirts, but I got shirts made with Bible verses on the back or scriptures and stuff like that. Just something to do with God on the back of my shirt, because what he told me is, I'm standing there fishing out the back of the boat and I'm fighting this fish.
Mm-hmm.
There's somebody that'll read that verse on the back of my shirt that needs to see that
That's
day.
right. I plant a seed that day, brother.
That's it.
Yes,
and
sir.
that's awesome.
That's what I take from it, man. And I thank him every day, and I try to thank him for every fish I catch, because he's the only reason I'm out there, man. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be sitting here right now, And,
same here, brother.
Yeah.
He gave me a new heart in more ways than one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And he'll take anybody, no matter how dirty, filthy you are. He'll take you just like you are. Because I was a dirty mess when I gave my heart to him, man, and he cleaned me up, and I'm not perfect by no means, and nobody is. And you can do the best you can do, and if you screw up, just ask him to forgive you, and he will. And you start with a clean slate. I screw up every day, but I ask for forgiveness when I do, and he starts me off with a clean slate.
Absolutely, brother.
If you mess up too bad, or mess up a little bit, he'll spank you. But if you mess up real bad, he'll whoop you. He'll let you know when you do something real wrong.
That's right.
But that's
your mama's got a question there,
and I'm thankful to be able to do it. And like I said, that it ain't really all about the following or the money or anything.
Yep.
It's just being able to do his work in amongst something that I love to do,
Yep.
and it all works out both ways.
Yeah, I tell people all the time that believe it or not, this is a ministry. What I do on YouTube, I never fail to share Jesus with others.
Yes,
and
sir.
I want them to know that he is the reason I am here, and he is the reason that I live. And if you got to make him priority number one in your life, and then everything else falls behind that.
Yes, sir.
So I mean, that's so important, and I appreciate your testimony, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all allowing me to do it, man. Sure do.
Absolutely, it's welcome here. Matter of fact, Bob will, in just a second we'll close us out with the prayer. But real quick, Mom, Crystal gets induced at 8 a.m. tomorrow, and it could go quick. It could be an hour or two before she delivers, and it could be 24 hours before she delivers. So they're not taking the baby by cesarean. So they're going to induce her labor and try to get that thing to come out naturally. So,
yeah,
but
awesome,
I'll keep you updated.
Yeah.
Keep you updated. Well, Bob.
Well, on that note,
absolutely.
Pray us out.
Let's do it.
Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to gather here tonight, Lord God, on this technology, Lord, that we get to share with all these people, Lord, everyone in chat, and our Brad here, Lord God, and just to hear his testimony was just the icing on the cake tonight, Lord, of good conversation about what we get to do in the outdoor, Lord, and how we pursue your creatures, Father God, and show them respect, Lord God, at the same time, and show people how to respect your resources, Lord God. And Lord, I want to come to you right now, Lord, and ask for prayer that everything goes well tomorrow for Roger's daughter, Lord God, in this delivery, Lord God. We know that you are the surgeon of surgeons, Father, and you are the doctor that we all need in our lives, Lord. And I just pray you have your hand on the doctors delivering this baby, Lord, this precious baby, Lord God. And we thank you, and we give you all praise, glory, and honor. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Bob. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome, buddy.
She's had a rough road, man.
Yeah.
Looked like she was trying to come out at 25 weeks, and we were scared to death. We was like, please don't let this baby come at 25 weeks.
I remember. Yeah. It's been a bumpy road.
It was scared to death. And the fact that we're here now, 37 weeks full term is a blessing. And
Yes,
that's right. Sure is.
If I get one more prayer answered, it'll be that this baby's healthy and good. And then I'll be happy. And the mom's good. And the mom's good. I don't want anything to happen to her.
We're praying that way. That's right.
All right. Well, Brad, thanks again so much for your time, dude. You look like a natural. You just went right along, man.
Absolutely, man.
Hey, well, I appreciate it, man. I look forward to coming back on with y'all guys. Anytime y'all need a old country slanging can't talk
Hey,
on the show, just let me know.
Well, that's my job. Hey, we ain't that far apart, Brad. We got to get together and fish, brother.
Hey, we do.
You're a couple hours down the road, man.
Yeah, I seen you up the river from me on your last video. I thought, man, we need to hook up and learn a few of them bumping moves. And I don't know if us filming together, I don't know if they'll be able to understand anything we're saying, but we'll make it work.
Well, that's what captions are for, man. I'll turn the captions
AI
on my video. Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Hey, that'll work, bud.
All right, guys.
We'll entertain them all.
I'm going to get on out of here. Thank you guys again. Buddy. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us tonight. We'll see you next Tuesday night. Same cat time, same cat channel. Good night, everybody.
Well, have a great night.
Good night, everybody.
And we done. Well, I think we're done. I hit intro.
Yeah, we're still here, but